All right, now there's a person I call Little Sis. Real proud of her right now. Reason being, because she's understanding the importance of getting natal chart, and now she's doing a name and another thing she requested. That's what we want to do. And we just did her natal chart. She did the twin flames natal chart. Real important for twin flames. Real important for anybody. That's just the way it is. Um, and so it's glad to see her progress. You know, because why keep spending here and there? Once you have your natal chart, that's your whole foundation. And then when you ask questions, you can actually ask whoever you're going to ask specific questions based on your chart, because now you got your chart. All that, I see you in June. I see a birth. That could be true. I'm not saying that it's not, but it also could be fake. That person can be blowing smoke up your ass. How you gonna know? And then June will come, and then it won't be down, and you'll say, well, the only thing that happened to me was my cousin came to visit. Oh yeah, that's who I saw. Probably was your cousin. So they just ripping you off. When you got your natal chart, you don't play games. You know specific questions. In my ninth house, I have this situation on what's in my ninth house. And that's how you know if you're dealing with a person who knows what they're talking about. Because they should be able to go in and tell you something that you already see right in your ninth house. Because you got the chart. But if they can't see, why are you talking to that person? Like, that's why I say little sis. It's like, you train your family to be smart, not to be stupid. So that's more important to me than blowing smoke up people's asses, and then I'm somewhere enjoying other people's money and I don't deserve it. Like where I come, I would shoot those people in the head. I don't appreciate those people. Not that I've ever shot anybody in the head, but metaphorically speaking, artistically speaking, that's a piece of trash to me. So I don't have any affiliations or associations with people like that because I don't like them. So now you have somebody that's becoming more understand where's my natal chart at. Now she can understand him a little bit more. She can understand what happened in past life that's affecting him right now. See, what you have to understand, if your natal chart kind of indicates that you did something to this guy in the past, and it's still that's why I told you how real love is powerful. That it's affecting you in this life. You have to humble yourself. See, like I said, my twin had that level of stuff going on. She had to humble herself, but she wouldn't. And that's her own fault. And she actually destroyed. The universe went out of its way to bring us together. She was the a-hole. I was just scared in the beginning because I didn't know what the hell was going on until I found out about twin flames. But she was an a-hole. And she's never repented. So when you have your natal chart, it helps you realize what you need to be doing. If you really want this union, if you want to get past the separation, you have to grow up, hold yourself accountable, and act accordingly. And the more you do that, the more your communications with this person will get better, especially when you let this person know. Especially when you let this person know, that you're serious about union and stuff like that. Because that's what most people want to hear. Everybody's not into this third dimensional bullshit. Like when you're dealing with twin souls and all that, sometimes you're dealing with indigos, crystal children, all kind of different people. They're more sensitive. They're higher vibrations. They're not on that third dimensional garbage. Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecy 444. I am Gat, your host. Now she has requested her, as I said, name numerology. We'll do something else when we get there. We want to do name numerology first. Name numerology. And again, this is information she could be saving up, learning more about herself, and it'll help her. Because what I learned is this: no matter what, it's worth whatever's been asked of you on this channel, because you become a better person if you apply it. So whether you work it out with your twin or meet somebody else, you'll still be a better person. See, a lot of people don't mind going through dysfunctional families and stuff like that. Loving it, like I said, it's better to have love than lost and never have love, and all these excuses. I'm more into I don't want to do that no more. I don't want no more dumbass relationships, badass relationships. So I'd rather learn more about myself, get my shit together, and when I try to meet somebody, they got to be on a certain level. I'm not just dating anybody because I'm not going through that bullshit no more. So if I date anybody, they gotta have a little bit of maturity, and they gotta realize it's not a bubblegum date, it's not bubblegum astrology, it's not bubblegum horoscope, nothing's bubblegum. I'm a grown ass man. We trying to eat steaks, we trying to eat real meals, we not trying to eat that baby shit no more. No more baby stuff. And you have to meet somebody who kind of feels the same way. And there are people out there that do, you just have to meet them. All right. So now, this person says most authorities agree that the full birth name as recorded on your birth certificate is a name that must be used for all calculations involving names. Because some people say, can I use this name? Oh, I got my name changed. Oh, what about my nickname? He said nicknames, change names, including marriage names, do not dilute the importance of the name given to you by your parents. So that's how he said. That's how I always got it. Because I have people, oh, I'm married. Let me use my married name. Oh, I changed my name. I've been going by this name. But I usually say use a name that was given to you. And, some of that stuff is kind of weird. It might have been a foster family. I got adopted by somebody. That's my real family. In cases like that, I say do it twice. Because those are unique circumstances. So give me a time. I'm going to do this right now. All right. There are 23 letters in your name. Those 23 letters total to the number 98. There are 11 vowels and 12 consonants in your name. Your number is 8. So you really connected to that soul, but the one good thing about the soul and the business, that's why I said if you can get that together, you may already be, but you will be very powerful. But who's kind of bringing you down is that Lilith. But see, Lilith wants it her way, even if it's self-destructive. And she thinks it's cute. She thinks scandal and everything is cute, but it's not when you're got a good job and you lose it because you do something scandalous, or if you had a good relationship with somebody and you mess it up because of that level of retrograde energy. All right, give me one. And just give me a moment because I'm multitasking, so just give me a second. All right, today I posted this article, so I thought I'd share it with you, and I think I'm going to put this entire article in the description box. All right, give me a moment. All right. So I'm getting ready to read the report. I'm just clearing a few things up. Alright. Today is June 25th. There was some type of moon yesterday, the 24th, but I had no time to look into it. It's 3/24. That's when I got baptized in Pennsylvania back in the day. March 24th. It's 3/24. 6/25/2017. Alright. It says your number is 8. The characteristics of 8 are practical endeavors, status-oriented, power-seeking, high material goals. The expression or destiny for 8. So this is your expression number, your destiny number. Your expression is represented by the number 8. The 8 expression is well equipped in a managerial sense, because we already saw you as having a lot of control over people. But you just got to get that Lilith energy in check. Because the bottom line is, here's it is. See, I keep it 100. You're in a work spot and you're a manager. You're coming in looking good. You already know it. Women already know this shit. But now you got a lot of guys checking you out or whatever. Or whoever you got checking you out. Alright? Let's just say that's all good. Right? Because one guy, he's a little bit more aggressive than the rest, which turns you on, because you could tell he doesn't have that same fear of losing his job or whatever. This dude's thinking with the wrong head, but he's used to doing it, and it's kind of turning you on. So now, you can risk your job and do some crazy shit. Because I used to work for this manager. I don't even know if I should go there, but I think I should. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just go with my feeling. But I was just trying to work, really. And it's always been hell, because like I said, when you are Earth Angel, you're not really on third dimensional. So almost everywhere you go, it's going to be some bullshit. You can go in the store, some shit will pop off. This happens all the time. For people that are really Earth Angels, they know I'm not lying. You could be sitting at the library, an old lady will sit down next to you, and the first thing she says is, did you see my purse? I just have my purse right here. And let's just say you go in the library to use the computer because your computer is broken. And you sit down. Within 5 minutes of you sitting down in the library, old lady sits down and starts talking about her purse is missing. This shit happens all the fucking time. So, with this boss, so this is a boss, a female, and you got this guy, and you could tell he, oh yeah, so that's what I was trying to tell you. Anyway, so I had this woman. She wasn't black. She wasn't. I'm not gonna say what her ethnic group was, but she wasn't a white lady. She wasn't a black lady. She wasn't Spanish. And I'll leave it at that. I won't go. And she wasn't Hindu or Indian either. But anyway, you know, back then that was like 2007, so I was a different person. I was just trying to do the right thing, trying to work a job, but these people don't make it easy. I used to fantasize about working in a corporation. I really did when I was younger. And then when I worked in a corporation, so how perverted and disgusting it was, I never wanted to work in a porter. It reminded me of going to churches, because it's the same people. All these people claim to be knowing Jesus, but Jesus ain't nowhere near these people. I'm not with that fake shit. So I'm trying to mind my own business. So she was always trying to play me out. But what I didn't like about her was you trying to act like you so high and mighty, but you're a foreigner. Like, real talk. Listen, we was here first. So we built this shit. So I just didn't like how she was acting. And she was just acting like she wanted to be a Caucasian so bad. And I wasn't cool with this. So I really didn't like that about her. Then she was trying to act like she was a Christian, which she was fake and phony. And then she really ain't like me until I really started catching on to what I had to do, because I became like the man up in there. I was real good at what I could do once I caught on. So then she went from really trying to play me out to Like now she talking to me with her breast, putting her breast all up in me, and then I'm in her office and she's trying to like give me subtle hints and shit like that. And it just worked out because she was my manager, so we would be there a lot. Like me and her would be the everybody else would leave. Like at 5 o'clock, everybody else would leave, but I was a temp, and I would be doing all the work and shit. We and her would be in there like 8 o'clock and shit, in that whole building by ourselves and shit. So she was always trying to do slick shit and subliminal shit, but I wasn't there for all that. And I couldn't respect her. I didn't respect her for different reasons. You a fake Christian, you a foreigner, but you acting like you Caucasian. You should understand people need breaks and shit, but you don't. Because I was a temp. I was like, make me permanent. You know what I'm saying? I'm here 3 hours past everybody else. At 5 o'clock, everybody's out the door. I'm a temp. I care more about this company than they do. Why won't you make me permanent? So I didn't like her for a lot of reasons. But what I really didn't like about her was the sexuality and shit like that. And she called herself a Christian. So I was totally turned off by her. And guess what her name? I even tell you what her name was. Her name was a version of this is how the Divine Mother works, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This was a version. Her name was a version of Mom. That was her name and shit. And there was another African black woman, and she was an a-hole at first. She used to talk to me like garbage, cause they see that I'm like really nice, and they think I'm soft. I'm not soft. I'm trying to just keep a job and shit. But nigga don't have to do this to make a living. You know what I'm saying? So me and her, I got into it too. Now I'm telling you all this for a reason, because it's going back to that number 8, and it's going back to that powerful black woman. Because here you had this one woman that tried to treat me like dirt until I kind of put her in her place. And it was actually, so I don't want y'all thinking I threatened her or nothing. I was actually in tears and shit. She had to pull me to the back room because I wanted to quit and shit. She was fucking with me because y'all don't understand. It was so hard to get a job. I really wanted to work. And it was always some bullshit. Like every job I got, it wasn't like, hey, this is how you do this job. And, you know, we know you're new. Because that's how I would train somebody. We know you're new. We know you're new, so it may take you a little while, but you know, blah, blah, blah. It was always like in my face, like talking crazy. And plus, all my moms was crazy like that. My sister's crazy like that. Like all this crazy devil third dimensional energy and shit. So I was just sick of seeing it. So I basically told that chick, she pulled me in, because she was just yelling at me on the floor and just embarrassing me and shit. Everybody looking at me like I'm stupid and shit. And what I'm trying to tell y'all, I turned out to be one of the best workers there if they just gave me a fucking chance. So I was in tears. She had me in the back room. I was like, yo, I said, listen, I don't have to do this. I said, all my friends is drug dealers. I said, I don't have to come up in this place. I don't have to come up in this place and work here and be putting up with this bullshit. I went off and shit. But me and her was cool at, like, I never, you know, once you disrespect me, me and you probably ain't gonna be cool. But like, she never disrespected me again. So in that sense, me and her was cool. But that other woman, I never liked her. And as soon as they didn't need me no more, they got rid of me quick as I don't know what. But I didn't care because they didn't want to pay shit. Like the money you couldn't eat off of that money they was paying. And I was doing all the fucking work. I had all kind of people coming to me because I was that good and shit. I'm not bragging, but this planet just be too much bullshit, and I done seen that too many fucking times. So the reason why I'm stressing it for people that are listening, because maybe you're in the manager position, maybe you'll think twice or whatever. Maybe you going through some fucked up shit. So it's my way of telling you, look at me now. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up. There's a reason. You might be an earth angel. You might be an indigo or crystal child. So don't give up. Planet Earth is 3D. It's booty. It's fake from where you really come from. This shit ain't even the crumbs under the table and shit. Don't let these damn devils break you. So now, let me get back to the woman with power. That manager with power. So now, the bottom line, if you really want this dude, right? If you really want to get with this dude, why would you risk your fucking job doing it? That's just silly. And that's how she was. I know for a fact I could have had that woman. That woman would have her breasts all in my face and all kind of shit. And I'm looking at her like, damn, you disgusting. Like, you the fucking manager and shit. Like, at least have some coupe. You know what I'm saying? Get some finesse or some shit like that. Why would you be trying to, like, put your, like, but you see this shit a lot. And I'm like, what type of women are y'all? You know what I'm saying? You at your job and you fucking got your breasts all in another man's face and shit like that. Hey, nigga, if you want to help me, make me permanent and shit. Don't nobody want that stank ass pussy and shit. You probably offering it to everybody and shit. So that's what I'm trying to say. So you had these people that we learned on her natal chart with that Lilith. Lilith will do that. Lilith like scandal. Lilith will do some skank shit in the office. The dude in the office, door closed and shit. But that's stupid. Why risk your job and shit? Another time I want to tell you, I was at a job where I was working. I actually was dealing with the money and shit. I was taking the money to the bank every day and stuff like that. And one day I was in this dude's office and I needed a pen. There wasn't no pen around, so I opened up his top desk, just pulled the pen out and filled out whatever I filled out and put it back in his desk and closed the desk. But see, I'm not stupid. I know anytime you're dealing with money, it's probably cameras and shit. So then, when a woman was training me, we was in that same office or something, and she said to me, she said, this is what she said, this is how I knew they was watching me, which I don't blame them because I would have been watching too. This is what she said to me. She said, when you need a pen, you get a pen from over here. But I knew she seen me because she was watching this shit. Because she said, when you need a pen, you get a pen from, like, don't go looking for no pen nowhere else. When you need a pen, you get it from over here. So that's what I mean about scandal. You don't know if they got cameras in there. And if you got blinds and shit, somebody might be able to see through you don't know that shit. But you think it's cool because you think you in control. I'm the head bitch in charge. And I can do what the fuck I want because that shit go to your head. All that money and that prestige go to your head and you think you can do what you want. And this dude that you going to lose your whole career over, he's a fucking lowlife. Because if he was a real man, he would realize this ain't the place to do this. That's why you got off hours and hotels and all kind of shit. Fuck, go in a car up the street, in an alleyway somewhere. But fuck, why would you do that shit at your job? Now, the reason why I'm bringing that out, because this is going back to the natal chart. And the natal chart talked about that Lilith in the career sector retrograde. And really her 8th house, 9th house, and 10th house are especially in view in her natal chart. And then in 11th house too. When you see Scorpio in 11th house, that's usually people that go out, secret groups and all kind of, freaky shit, secret societies, all that shit. If you see Scorpio in the 11th house, her Scorpio is in the 10th, but it's connected to her 11th house by Uranus. And Uranus rules Scorpio. And Uranus is also retrograde. So that's why I thought I should do that. So you're going to have outstanding organizational and administrative capacities. You have the potential for considerable achievements in business and other powerful positions. You can expect to receive the financial and material rewards, which we already did on your natal chart. You have the skills and abilities to establish or operate a business with great efficiency. We already did that on your natal chart. This is why you need your natal chart. That's what I'm trying. But this is how silly these people. I'm gonna keep it 100. This is how third dimensional is. You try to help somebody, they play you out. If you jerk them, they respect you. It's just sick. I'm not saying I would ever do that. See, because here's the deal. I'm not from third dimensional. I could give a fuck less about third dimensional. I'm from higher vibrations and shit. Where I come from, we got class and ethics and stuff like that. That's where I'm really from. And anybody that really deal with me know I'm not from this planet. So my ethics alone won't let me do certain stuff that other people would do. So I have a new policy. Let the stupid stay stupid. And thank God that God is blessing with people that got common sense. Like I said, I'm real proud of her because she finally did what she should have did for whatever reason. Because I had been telling her this and that. You're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna get what you want out of life if you're gonna be nickel and dime and everything. Sometimes you gotta go ahead and get it. Handle your business. I had to do it. Everybody gonna do it. And as you see, when you start following this, because if she has that job already, or if she's about to get that job, she'll be in a better frame of mind. Because I keep trying to tell you, the worst thing you want to do is send out messages, I want to fuck, at your place of work. Because somebody will take you up on it. Might be a woman. Might be a man. They will take you up on it. And some people think that shit is cool to be fucking on a job desk and all that shit. I don't think it's cool because you fucking with the money. Now, if we wasn't going to get caught, maybe I'd be interested. But if you get caught, you done fucked up everything and shit. That shit's stupid. And go down to the unemployment and tell them why the fuck you got fired. Oh, I was sucking one of my coworkers off on the desk. You think they're going to give you money? They're going to be like, well, fuck it, you a hoe. Why don't you just go work for a pimp and shit? That's what you should have did in the first place. But a lot of people think that shit is cool. You don't know where cameras is at, nigga. You don't know where they put cameras at. It says you have good judgment when it comes to money and commercial matters, and you understand how to build and accumulate material wealth. Much of your success may come due to your ability to judge character. But then this is how they really wrote it. Let me tell you how they really wrote it. And you're going to see this because I'm going to email you this. Much of your success, quote, much of your success, parentheses, or lack thereof, parentheses, may come due to your ability, parentheses, or inability, parentheses, to judge character. In other words, depending on where it is on your chart, if it's a retro or whatever, you're either going to have a real good ability to judge character, and it's going to help your success, or you're going to have a lack of ability to judge character. With the number 8 expression, you exercise sound judgment in most of your affairs. See how he said most? You are realistic and practical in your approach to business matters. Now they say the positive 8. The positive 8 expression produces individuals that are very ambitious and goal-oriented. If the 8 energy is not in excess in your makeup, you will no doubt express these traits to some extent. No one has any more energy. He meant to say than a person. I'm going to change that. He said that a person, but he meant than. No one has more energy than a person with the 8 expression who has a plan laid and is starting to work. No one has any more self-confidence either. If you are expressing the positive qualities of 8, you are an outstanding manager because you can plan, initiate, and complete projects. You are very dependable and determined. Now somebody might be saying, well, what if it's the boss? What if she goes works for a guy and he sees his good-looking black woman and he want to bang her out? What would you have me say? What type of answer would you have me give? I don't know what type. I don't advocate. I'm not saying I'm pro or con. I'm not for or against. But if it's the boss, it's the fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? But then again, he might bang around and then fire her. But what do they say? All is fair. All is fair in sex and war. I don't know. The reason why I'm bringing this up because it's on her chart, a scandal in that 10th house. And the one thing you have to do though is I don't know, nothing good is gonna come out of that sex in the workplace, bro. The only thing is going to, if it's the boss, he's gonna get what he wants, and he can get rid of you anytime he wants to. And other people may know what's up. They might not like you, but people may be jealous of you. But the fact of the matter is, wherever you go, might be people jealous of you. So you have to have some type of back skin and stuff. So learn how to be a wise person. That's why I said when you're dealing with that Lilith energy and career and the money sector and all that stuff going on, you got to really be a very shrewd person. You got to be thinking before you just act. And that's what I try to tell people. See, in my job, when I went in there, I did my best because I already knew how it was going to go. And there was one black female that worked there, but it was all white people. It's like in a corporation, it was all white people and shit. And you know, I even go into their parties, I won't even get they'd be cracking like jokes and shit that would be kind of inappropriate. Like let me change it a little bit. If you're the only white person in the room and shit, and they cracking like kind of like white jokes, that's just like what's that word? It's disrespectful and shit. It's inconsiderate, insensitive. Because like if I say it, it's like, oh dude, you know, it's just a joke. Let it go, dude. But if you put them in a situation, they'd be like, yeah, you know, it was a little awkward. I'm the only white guy in there, a white female, and they keep cracking white jokes. So I've been there, and then when I started that job, I was just trying to keep a job because it was real hard to get a job, especially out here around that time. And so it's a black female there, so I would really never even talk to her too much. I mean, this is 2007. I probably would do it differently now, but I wouldn't say nothing to her because I just knew if they see me and her talking right away, because I already know, like I just know. Everybody want that black chick. They'll talk shit about you, but they still want to get you in that bed. I've been around long enough. And so if you're the only black female in a place, you got a lot of white people lusting for that pussy. And then if a black dude come, they naturally think y'all two gonna hook up, so they always gonna be jealous of looking and shit like that. Even if you don't like the dude. So that he might end up losing his job just for that reason. As crazy as that sounds, but I'm talking real world right now. I'm not talking about this punk shit. That's like people saying ain't no racism in America. Take the last 2 years and see how many black people the police killed, and there was no reason those people had to be killed. They just killed a mother with a kid right in front of her kids. And I know right away a devil's gonna say, well, she had a knife. And you know what? I'm gonna say I kind of agree with what you're saying, but what about all the other ones? And even though she had a knife, she wasn't aiming it at the cops. But let's just say we'll let that one slide because of the knife, which I'm not letting it slide, but let's just say we do. But what about all the other ones killed? When they had to do the chokehold, he said, you choking me to death. They still didn't take the choke back. They still killed his ass. Everybody killing. So that's why I said I don't play games because it's just stupid. And that's why I'm trying to tell y'all. I teach from a position. I've been on this planet long enough to tell y'all what's really up. And this person knows it. This person is getting this reading. She knows it. Because you are a target. Because, like I said, you will work for a boss. He'll talk shit to you. He'll start taking you down, getting everything from you. And then once he's done with you, he'll fire your ass. Especially if he's married. And a lot of times when a wife comes through, she kind of already got an idea what's up. She'll act like she don't. Like she'll lie to herself. Unless she's like one of them wives that ain't gonna lie. Because you got some wives that'll beat your ass up. Fucking come in there with a knife or some shit. But some wives know their husbands be banging out like their secretary and shit. But they just act like they don't know and shit. Banging out that assistant or whatever the fuck. We live on a crazy ass planet. So these are things you gotta know to think ahead. And then somebody else might say, well, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna put my trust in my chart and not in this man. Especially when you know about Lilith and shit. Because Lilith is waiting for that scandal. She don't care if you don't want in control or you don't want being a servant. Lilith and she wants to. She likes that. She likes to get busted. Like you think about somebody like Bill Clinton. He don't care. As many times that dude been in a Bill Clinton been in the news for like all kind of immorality and all that shit for over at least 30 years. At least the early 90s. So at least 25 years, but maybe longer. And he still do what Bill do. Donald Trump embarrassed Bill Clinton by bringing all those women that he had allegedly sexually assaulted, and Donald Trump brought all of them in there at that debate with Hillary Clinton, and Bill Clinton was just sitting there, and all them women sitting there, all them women, he was just sitting there. And if he felt embarrassed, you couldn't tell. I'm sure he probably did inside, but nah, he felt like I got away with it. I ain't do no jail time. I could care less. So that's like Lilith. And in the Bible, she says, I have not sinned. She's a whore, but she says, I have not sinned. That's Lilith. In that retrograde. It says, as it always happens, there can be too much of a good thing. If you have too much of the 8 energy in your makeup, you may express some form of negative attitudes. A negative 8 can be very rigid and stubborn. What did I just get finished talking about? A negative 8 can be very rigid and stubborn. Ambition sometimes has a way of becoming overambitious, and you may express an unreasonable impatience with the lack of progress. If your negative side is showing, you may be too exacting both of yourself and others. Sometimes this can become a case of intolerance. The number 8 is very materialistic and also desirous of status and power. And that's what I said. And that's how you're going to see sex as power. So you got the Lilith retrograde and you got that Scorpio because you had stuff going on in your 8th house going on. And I think you got Scorpio and your I gotta remember what you had. I'm gonna pull it up. Come on. And again, this is not to put anybody down. This is to warn you. That's so. Like I said, nobody's trying to put nobody on blast. It's just silly. Some of y'all be so childish and immature. Grow the fuck up. Nobody's trying to put nobody on blast. We're trying to help you so you know this shit. So you don't get your shit fucked up. Hopefully you'll get a job making a whole lot of money where you won't do no dumb shit and fuck it up. That's the point why you get your natal chart. And even with the twin flame. See, like I said, I can talk to anybody. I'm willing to talk if she's willing to talk. But if she wants to keep being an a-hole, I can't help that chick. And that's why I said I'm glad ain't nothing happened. I'm glad. Whatever they thought about me, here's the deal. At least I didn't give my love to somebody who didn't deserve it. At least I ain't got no stupid ass situation with somebody that I don't want to be with anyway. I'm glad ain't nothing happened. That's how you use knowledge to your advantage. Sometimes you could get fired, but that could be the best thing that happened to you. In fact, everything popped off for me after I got fired because of my twin got me fired. So if I had played ball, I'd still be in that same third dimensional bullshit with some freaky ass broad that I can't trust anyway. Because she's too immature. She has to grow up. Alright, so in 11th house you have that Nah, this is a different one. Because I was looking at this like, this is different. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at your twin. Because it was close to yours, but not yours. All right, let me do it again. All right, Lilith and Scorpio in your 10th house. So, yeah, so if you're not careful, you can definitely get into it. Well, let me tell you this. Just practice savings. I'm not saying be cheap, but I am saying practice savings, because if you do allow your Lilith retrograde and your Scorpio and your career sector to get you in trouble, have some money so that when you do get fired, because you are, believe me, she's setting you up. Like, she's setting you up to get fired. That's why I said if I was a wicked dude, that could have worked both ways. Because I could have told on her. I could have said, listen, she's following me around. She's hiring me. Just have your managers watch her. Do you know I'm not lying or something? And that could have blew up on her. But I wasn't out to try to get nobody in trouble. I was just trying to just get through the situation without bullshit. And like, man, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be a Leo. You know, we don't want to, we're romantic. We don't want to, you know, at the end of the day, I still had feelings for her. So I wasn't trying to make no trouble for her. But at the end of the day, she made trouble for herself being that wicked. And then she didn't really know what it was either. She didn't know what twin flames was either. But she was still weird no matter what. So it says that number 8 is very materialistic and also very desirous of status and power. Neither of these drivers are inherently negative unless they are taken to an extreme. You must avoid the tendency to strain after money, because that's why a lot of women do what they do. They want that cash. You must avoid the tendency to strain after money, material matters, status, and again, because I'll tell you straight up. Some of these people will get you in the office. You come in the office, especially if you're in an elevator and the office look good, or while you walking through the parking lot, all you seeing is nice cars and shit. And if let's just say you walk in the parking lot and he got a special spot, and you walk past his spot, nice ass high expensive car and shit, and you take an elevator to see him, or his office is all nice and shit, and you can tell that man is running that office like that, that shit could be overwhelming for a female. So it says you must avoid the tendency to strain after money, material matters, status, or power to the detriment of the other important factors of your life. And that's what I'm warning you. And then I'm gonna email her this to make sure she can see it herself, because that's what's on her chart. Your soul number is number 11. Much of your thinking and interests relate to the abstract, the spiritual, the utopian dreams. You are motivated toward idealistic concepts and the sharing of your ideas and concepts with humanity. And that's when we saw your Pisces. That's your Pisces we saw. See, you got a Pisces. I think I already said this before. You got a Pisces Scorpio war going on. But everybody battles that light against darkness. And Scorpio is not really bad because it can be powerful. But if you let Scorpio rule you, you're going to have problems. You have to rule Scorpio. This number is not one that is giving a material or a practical sense, but rather one who desires to help mankind with a more abstract commodity such as religion, spiritualism, occult studies, or even psychic abilities. And see, that's why you have that number 9 boyfriend, that twin. You see, he's more Sagittarian. He's more that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why he's running from you, because you saw sex, you saw power, you saw all that, and you didn't really see him with love. You saw him as belonging to you. Like, you belong to me. You're who I want to be with. You belong. But you didn't know. He wanted to see love. And again, with my twin, I got accused of a lot of stuff. But the truth of the matter was, she never talked. So she was a coward. So she can't say how I was, because if people really follow me these last 3 years, you would have saw I had love for that woman. But she was an idiot, and I'm going to keep it 100, whether people like it or not. She was an idiot. She never gave me a chance. And that's why you females, you like to cut a guy down and cut him down. Why don't you learn how to listen? Y'all got so much energy for everything else. Why don't you ever learn how to listen? Why don't you learn how to go out on a date and actually try to have a conversation before you decide who you want to be with and who you don't want to be with? So it's a lot of silly things y'all do where you actually hurt yourself. And guys like me have grown up, and we realize you didn't deserve me anyway. And so you can boo, scream, do whatever you feel you act as a female, but at the end of the day, you didn't deserve a good guy if you didn't get the guy a chance. A guy might be nervous because he really likes you. Unlike a dude that's just walking up to you with the same line he's using on any broad. The really confident guy that you're interested in, he's probably really confident because he doesn't give a fuck about you. And he's gonna bag you like he does any other female. And if he's learned how to play game like y'all play game, he'll have you feeling guilty. He'll make you think he broke up with you and he only broke up with you because he didn't want to be with you. He just wanted to fuck you. And once he gets the pussy, after a while, and he gets sick of it, he's gonna come up with a reason, just like females do. And you're sitting there crying, thinking it's something you wasn't nothing you could do. He never had an intention on being with you. Not that way, not longevity. But you want sexy, right? You want to be sexy, so that's what you get. Sex. All right, give me a moment. If you possess, and remember now, notice that they're talking about your soul urge, and see your twin flame is your twin soul, and that's where they start talking about your spiritual side, because that helping mankind and all that. That's Pisces and Sagittarius, and I know for a fact he had that Sagittarius. His sun sign is in Sagittarius, but he definitely, I think his ascendant is a Sagittarius. So that's why God brings two people together, because they're supposed to help them help each other. But what happens sometimes you get with your twin, but they still don't want no part. Like let's just try to understand that. You'll have one twin that maybe is more Scorpion like. They're more earthly, more third dimensional. They're more about sex, enjoying the world and stuff. But then you might get the other twin. They're more like, I want to help the people. Let's go to church, or let's start our own ministry. Let's help the people. And what happens in third dimensional, the other person might not want to do that help people shit. And so they may get together, but they still have issues because they don't see. When you really understand that twin flames is a sacred union, you just become humble. And that's why, like, I give Angelica credit because she became humble. And I saw one other twin flame couple. Well, they called themselves the sacred union. They never said they were twins, but they said they had a sacred union. And the woman was like, as long as you do what you're supposed to, I'll do my best to do what I'm supposed to. But if you're going to be talking to other women and stuff on Facebook and all that, then I'm going to keep talking to other guys. So she told him that to his face. So I respected her for that. But it really is. You really realize this is a sacred union, and everything else is supposed to bow down to it. And even in the Bible, it says a man leaves his mother and father and cleaves to his wife. So it's not supposed to be nobody in between. But when you get third dimension, that's what happens. And then it could get boring if you give all your attention to one person. So that doesn't work too well with a lot of people. It's just real difficult to do. But like I keep telling you, it takes maturity. Because if a person can't come and sit down and talk, try to figure it out, how would you take that seriously? And I've been here too long and I worked too hard for that. Like, believe me, if I knew a certain thing of twin flame, I would have been ready for it when it came. But that everything that happened was what was supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to know about it till it came out of blue. It hit me. Now, all that shit happened for a reason. And it wasn't supposed to be a union at that time. Because even when we almost got past it, other shit broke out. It was always something breaking out that kept us separated. And that's why y'all hear me sing that song by Joe Jackson. Always something breaking us in two. So it says, if you possess the positive 11 soul urge traits, you have a dream of the perfect world. You are highly idealistic and inspirational. And you got to be careful because that's again Neptune and Pisces will make you highly idealistic. But your Neptune is retrograde because allegedly what you go through with your twin or what you go through in life is going to make you a more realistic person. All right, I'm going to sign out of here. And give me this. I want to put name numerology. I want to make this into a file. No, but see, she might get a job, and like I said, I tell y'all hear me say, grow some fucking testicles. Whether you're a man or female, stop being scared. Because you may get a job where a dude might try to say that. Oh, yeah, you can work here as long as, boom, you take care of me, I'll take care of you. Some shit like that, you might stand up for yourself. And it'd be funny, you may still get the job because he might respect you because you didn't go down on your knees and shit. So I don't know. Like I'm a different cloth. I'm not the average Joe. So but you'd be surprised because I've cursed bosses out and still had a job and shit. Like everybody, some people respect you more, but sometimes you gotta be willing to take that chance and shit. And what most people do, especially females, they see the here and now. Oh wow, this guy's gonna give me this amount of money just to do that. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything to me. He might like, and that's how they reason. And that's like a business person. That's that number 8 and shit. That's like a business person. Cause she gonna sit there and have sex and enjoy sex, but it was just sex. It was just money, and she don't care. And she feels like, well, I needed the money. My boyfriend wasn't giving it to me, so fuck it. I did what I had to do, and she's good with that. No conscience, no. Like I said in the Bible, she be like, I have not sinned and shit. And to be honest with y'all, to some degree, like as a Christian, I gotta say, wow, that's fucked up. That's really bad. But as a businessman, I'm like, I can't blame her and shit. As a businessman, because shit, she got paid and shit. But as a Christian, I'm like, no, that's wrong. So each person, that's why I say each person got to make their decision. I'm only here to point and guide and shit. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Whatever the fuck you do is your life. I can't tell you that. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen at the end. We hear so many stories. We hear we're leaving the third dimension, about to go into a higher dimension. We hear Jesus is coming. We hear everything. Who really knows what's really going to happen? So I just give experiences, why I feel and why I do. But me, I do know there's a dark side. So I stay the fuck. I try my best to stay away from the dark side. Give me a second because I'm trying to find. Yeah, let's put this in here. All right. But at the same time, I can't. As a big brother, sometimes you try to like stop somebody from getting hurt, but sometimes it might be there. It's part of their life purpose. Now that I have natal charts, I understand life more. Sometimes it's a person's purpose, life purpose, to be hurt or be abused and stuff like that. And I hate to admit that, but you can see it in the charts. So that's when I know to just keep my mouth shut because I didn't make the universe, so I really don't know. You are highly as 11-7 soul urge number. You are highly idealistic and inspirational. Your inner strength and devotion to your beliefs are extremely strong. You have a very good mind that is especially well equipped to handle the higher, more abstract forms of thought. If there is an excess of 11 energy in your makeup, you may possess some negative 11 traits. There's a tendency for the 11 to produce considerable amounts of negative tension, which is brought on by a very high level of awareness. Alright, so that may be not limited to, but you may like be judging other people, and that's where the tension comes from. You may be too sensitive and overly emotional. In some cases, these sensitivities and emotions are quite repressed. And whenever you talk about repression, you're talking about retrogrades. And this tends to add even more to the sense of nervousness in the makeup. And I'm sure Neptune retrograde can help with that because Neptune retrograde is going to take an internal. But the reason why Neptune retrograde can be a good thing because it makes a person more realistic. Whereas Neptune idealism is a person that's more idealistic. Like that's the female, because we're talking about career. But that's the female. The guy might hire her and he might be really smart. So he doesn't come on to her right away. But then he starts acting, he gives her a little bit to get in the door, and he starts being really overly, like way more nicer to her than he would somebody else, and really nice. And she'll think he really likes me, because a lot of women fall for this one. This is one of the, y'all. It's almost like you fall for this almost as much as y'all fall for the thug. But I still think you always fall for the bad boy. But now you got this guy, you're working for him, and, oh, Mr. So and so, because in the beginning stages, you're calling him Mr. So and so and shit. But he's doing that for a reason. It's a psychological thing. It's a mind fuck. Oh, Mr. So-and-so. Mr. So, would you like some more coffee, Mr. So-and-so and shit? And then he waits a little bit, so then he starts making a move on you here and there and shit. And then he's starting to get more closer with you and shit. And then he's like, oh, don't call me. You don't have to call me Mr. So now you call him by his first name, which makes you feel good and shit. Oh, wow, I got to call him by his first name. But he's mind fucking you. And that's just the lead to the whole thing. But that's that idealistic person. She can't see it. And then if you try to tell her, she'll be like, you're just jealous. So don't tell me this is my life. I'm an adult and all that shit. And like whenever a person is married, the chance of them leaving their wife to be with you is going to be slim. It could happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it could happen. But he's got kids with her. If they leave for that reason, she's going to take a large amount of his money. There's a whole lot of reasons why he's not going to be too quick to do that. Plus, as his name is with her, everything he's built in his life up to that point now is with her, with that house, with everything. So that's why I said sometimes you gotta have self-esteem. When you have self-esteem, you would never allow yourself to be a chick on the side and shit like that. I would never go for no shit like that. But that's third dimensional, and that's my point. When you come in the third dimensional, anything could happen. Anything. From molestation as a child on, it doesn't stop. As long as you're on this planet, anything could happen. Right now, I could go say, hey, I'm thirsty. I want to go get a Snapple and be caught up in some bullshit where I got a gun in my face and shit. I got that shit coming out of church and shit one time. I was coming out of church and shit. Next thing I know, I'm being grabbed by a cop wanting to throw me to the ground and shit. Nigga, I just came out of church. If I told you I'm a pastor, you still gonna throw me to the ground? What the fuck wrong with you? So that's his life. And again, you can advise people, but people got to make their own decisions. But my job is advise, put it out there, and then people can do whatever they want with it. But I say, if you see why I keep trying to tell you, be business minded, especially since you got that number 8. Because if it's gonna cause a loss, it may not be worth it. If it's gonna cause loss to your finances, it may not be worth it. Or if it's gonna cause loss to your career reputation, it may not be worth it. Or your reputation, it may not be worth it. So that's why people have to think. And like I said, one final thing about my twin is this. She'd have to become a metaphysical person. She'd have to not want to be in third dimensional. And her problem was she didn't know no better, but she's in third dimensional. She's having sex. This guy wouldn't put a ring on her finger back then. I don't know if he did or whatever's going on with that. But she's having all these babies. So she's having all this stuff that's going to tie her down to third dimensional. So it's going to be hard for her to really study and really get the calling and shit like that. That could take a long ass time. Because once somebody really lets the calling go through, they realize, like, they start to understand universe, and this is in my natal chart, and they believe and they know this is, and they really. But even then, some people could see it in their natal chart and still be like, well, I don't want that, or I don't want that union with him, or I don't want that union with them like that, or whatever. It takes a lot of maturity. And that's why, just like people go to church all the time and study the Bible all the time, you got to take this stuff seriously. That's why you always see me out here doing it. And when I have time, I'm always doing my readings and stuff on my other channel, Real Life and Metaphysics, because you'll forget quick, especially if you have a job out in the secular world. Because once you go out there, all that is secular energy, third dimensional energy, earthly energy, worldly energy, and it'll drain you. So you have to stay in intuitive stuff. But it has to be about you. It can't be about you and your twin, because your twin might not be ready. And I say, if they're not ready, it's nothing you're gonna do. Trying to help that person, like I said, I got fired. I could have got in worse trouble messing around with her, because she's playing games, but at the end of the day, she's not really ready. She's not ready to have a conversation. She's not really ready to talk about it yet. And it's always a reason why me and her ain't connected. She's just not ready. Because when she's ready, nothing could stop the connection. Because then they really want it. They really want to talk. And then just like anything you really want to do, you find time to do it. But all that, like you one day, don't like you the next, and playing all these stupid ass games, that's because that person ain't ready. Now, a strong 11 is not a very practical person because of extreme idealism. Often there is a degree of self-deception present. There is usually a rather fixed idea of right and wrong held by those showing strong 11 traits, and with this very often is a resulting attitude of inflexibility. But see, that could be not a bad thing if you're inflexible about the right stuff. But unfortunately, sometimes people are not. Like I said, they'll get really upset over something. Like, let's say animal something about the animals. They're upset about that, but then they'll be on their knees sucking off somebody else's husband. So they're not balanced. Like, wow, you get really upset about the animals, but what about this woman and her children that you're cheating on her husband with? So that's the imbalance. Now your inner dream number is 6, and that is the number of love, Venus. And the number 6 card is the lover card. Your dream of guiding and fostering the perfect family in the perfect home. You crave the devotion from offspring and a loving spouse. You picture yourself in the center of a successful domestic union. So right away we look at your 4th house. Let me find it again. I should have left it open. All right, give me 1 second. All right, give me a second. I gotta find it again. Your 4th house. This thing is being a pain. Give me a second. Oh, I know what happened. Never mind. The 4th house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because you can see in your 4th house, you already see the love, the communication, and Chiron is healing. And Taurus can be real sensitive. Taurus can be sensitive and loyal. So you see that's what you desire. So again, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, that's when a person has to be honest with himself. If that's what you desire, don't sell out. Don't let the sleazy side, because that's Lilith. No disrespect, but Lilith's all about that freaky shit, all kind of crazy shit, sucking somebody off, and in the next room is people, and you think they can't see you, so it's okay. That's all Lilith shit. That's that skanky shit. Sleeping around with somebody else's husband and shit. All that shit is Lilith. Thinking you ain't gonna get caught and shit. Or, like I said, I had a female friend. She loved to sleep with married men and guys in relationships with a female. Because the moment she got finished sleeping with this dude and doing everything to him, because that's what turned her on, turning that guy out, she'd pick up the phone and call up the dude's wife or call up the dude's girl and say, guess what your dude was just doing with me? And tell him exactly, graphically, what he just did. And she loved that shit. She loved ratting people out. That's that Lilith shit. So if you really want the family, you can't have it both ways, is what they're trying to tell you. You can't have a family and all that and the security of a family, but be highly immoral. You have to, because any form of immorality, just so y'all know, any form of immorality is still immorality. We can justify it. We can try to get people to feel sorry for us. It's still immorality. So if you really want that family, and what you would have to do, again, is work on your retrogrades, which we've already talked about in your natal chart, and you have to trust in the universe. Start talking more to God, talking more to the universe, and you just got to get faith and trust. Because if not, if you don't learn how to develop faith and trust in your natal chart and your real purpose here, then you're going to say, well, he's not with me, he's with her, them two are together, oh, they got engaged, or whatever, whatever case might be, he's not with her, so I'm not going to believe in that no more, and then something else going to come up. And then nobody wants to feel like they're not wanted. So then some of the next guy showing you attention might not be good for you. That's why you have to be able to think. So don't get mad if you don't have that family setting that you desire, because you're the one that's not trusting. And like I said, see, I got to work with my twin. I saw how many times the universe brought that female to me, over and over and over and over and over again. You know, the last time was big. I still know for a fact, like just certain things I just know because I've been here long enough. With her, it's just a matter of her growing up. Like, it's a matter of her really getting into this intuitive stuff and realizing her life purpose. That's going to be on her chart. So she has to grow up. And she has to understand. That's why I told her to study twin flame. Your twin may be hurting. They may have tried love so many times and been hurt every single time. So don't take it personal. If you realize that's who you're supposed to be with, you're supposed to help that person say, oh, it's not going to be that way with me. And that's why got a lot of respect for Angelica, because she finally admitted that. She had to get past all, I don't want to be with him, I'm not attracted to him, and she did everything. But then she finally wanted to trust the universe. And she actually said to the guy, I want to work this out with you and stuff. It takes maturity. Because that's what a man really wants to hear. We not with that punk shit no more. I could give a fuck less about a girlfriend. What the fuck that's gonna do for me? Nothing. Either you're real or we don't need to talk. And then that other chick said that. Like I said, in Sacred Union, I think they call themselves Sacred Union, but I'm not sure. But I remember her telling that guy, she said, as long as you are respecting me, I'm going to respect you. But if you're going to be on Facebook talking to other females and stuff like that, then I'm going to keep talking to other guys. But if you really want to respect our Sacred Union, then I'll respect it also. All right, give me a second. I got to clear out these browsers because my browser was acting up and slowing everything down. So I got to clean out everything, which takes a quick second. And then I can open up a browser and get going. Because now we want to do the address, but it will take a moment. But see, now she's set. Now she knows stuff about herself and her future that she could deal with. And that way, even if you make a mistake, you'll be better prepared for it. Because we already told you, you're going to have sex issues. You're probably going to have temptation. Either you're going to be tempting somebody to have scandalous sex with you, or somebody's going to be tempting you. It's in your chart if it hasn't already happened. But either way, you now know, and now you know how you can deal with it. And the real aspect on your chart is the idealistic person, and the person wants to help people, and the person wants to have a happy family. So that's the person you got to get to. And believe me, there's a whole lot of, like in church, that's something that you can really get some sleazy shit up in the church, believe it or not, because people haven't overcome their dark side yet. And so you'd be surprised what will happen in church and anything if you're not prepared for it. And that's where I know some people go to church just for that reason, because they know that's the good stuff. You got people just waiting for the freaky shit. All right. So at the end of the day, all this is working with the universe, and it's not where my twin is. That's where everybody makes the biggest, where's my twin? It's not about your twin. It's about you bringing yourself in harmony with the universe. And the more you bring yourself in harmony with the universe, the more your twin will begin to wake up. All right. All right. I'm going to put this on pause for a moment. I'll be right back. All right. We're now going to analyze a person's address. I had to take a pause for the calls because this rapper's on a comeback. Wanted to hear what he was doing. It sounded nice. All right. Now, this is how does your address impact your life? Enter it and they will tell you. And we're going to look right at it. All right. Now I want to do a couple of things. I just emailed her name numerology report. And then this will be... let me see. What are we doing? Give me a second. And now I want to do the address. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. Everything's going to act up right now. All right. I didn't want all that, but let's see what happens. All right. It came out pretty good. It says your address inspires creativity, optimism, flexibility, and openness. Your address adds up to number 3. But if you notice in your home, you have Mercury right there. in your natal chart. So you have a lot of love and communications for your family and your loved ones. So I'm just gonna give you a belief. People can take whatever they want, but give me a second. I'm just looking around, trying to think. Give me a second. Give me a second. So yeah, you got the Mercury, which is number 3, because Mercury rules Gemini. Gemini is the 3rd house of communication, so you got that in your 3rd house. And I'm just trying to close some of these browsers. All right, because this is your address of your home, and he's connecting you to number 3 Gemini, which is the 3rd house. But you got Mercury; its ruler is in your 4th house, so it's the same energy, just amplified, I would say. Great communication skills when it comes to family. So let me just tell you what I'm. See, a lot of people they go out in the world and they say, "Well, I want to have a family," and this and that, and that's what happens. So they go out in the world and they really mean well, but then they meet somebody that says, "Okay, yeah, you can get a job, but do this. You help me, I help you," some shit like that. And they say, "Well, I'm doing it for my family." I already said that, and I really believe that's how that woman was that I used to work for. I said really disgusted me. I believe that's how she was. I believe that position she had, I believe she fucked to get there. And the reason why I said that was how she was acting towards me. So some people say, well, how would you know? You weren't there. You wouldn't know that. That's really taking a little far. You're just being real judgmental right now. You can say what you want, but I was there with her. And this lady was just out of control. And see, like I said, these people, they crap me up because they come from nowhere. And then they get a position and they fuck to get it. And then they see like somebody else come in the door and they act like, oh, you gotta kiss my ass to really to get me to recommend you. And I'm like, I'm not kissing your ass for shit. You're gonna give me the position because I deserve it. And if you don't give me the position, I'll end up leaving or whatever. And to be honest, when I came there, I had left another position that was whack. And that was the competition. I walked out that building, I quit, walked out that building, and went right to the building around the corner. And that was their competition. Started working for them. So you got to believe in yourself. And that's why I said if you really believe in yourself and believe in God, you never got to worry about getting on your knees and doing anything or taking no oath for getting fucked up the ass and none of that shit. You just got to believe in God. But here's the catch. You might not get everything you want God's way, because Satan will give you anything for you to bend over. Just about. He loves seeing people break their integrity and break it. He loves it. That's what the book of Job was all about. So that's what a person would have to do. Because overall, this person's numerology is saying, yeah, you're a family person. Your family thing is just around the corner. But you got to go through darkness. You got to make a choice. And if you go through darkness, it's going to take you far away from where you need to be. And if you notice on your chart, that's the reason why you're not with that Sagittarius energy, which represents your twin. Because somewhere in your lifetime, whether this life or past life, I don't know. Or maybe in this life, I honestly don't know, but I know retrogrades can mean past life. You were more into that power, that career power, or you're going to do it because I told you to do it. And it wasn't love, and he hauled ass because that Sagittarius energy wants to feel free. And that Lilith wants to control. So what happens sometimes is, and this is the weird part about twin flames. I'm going to tell you guys a secret that I may have never told you before. When it comes to a woman and your twin flame, especially mine, My twin. Probably what she wanted to see from me more was love. Just like I say, had she talked, I would have melted. But she wouldn't talk, and that only made me more defensive. But with her, if I had a shower with that love she was looking for, she probably would have melted. Not saying everything would have been perfect, but it wouldn't have been so problematic. And sometimes kids will tell their parents, you're always telling me, look, I love you. I'm working all these hours for you. I'm getting all this money so we can live in a nice neighborhood. I'm getting all this money so we can take a vacation. I'm getting all this money that you can go to college. I'm getting all this money, so that's how I show you I love you. And the kid says, well, you know what? If you just stayed home with me sometimes and played with me, if you just stayed home with me sometimes and talked to me, I would see the love more. So that's what she's got going on with her chart. She's got all the capability of having a nice family, but it's gonna take her to believe in her spiritual beliefs, believe in her natal chart, her universe. She's got to believe. And most people, if they're not seeing it, they're not gonna feel it, especially from a woman. Because the moment you see him with that other woman, you're gonna want to tap out. You're going to throw all your cards down and say, "That's it, I'm out." And that's what most people do. They don't keep believing and keep trusting and keep growing. So that's the challenge everybody has to make. Like I said, with me, if me and you can't talk eye to eye and talk, how the hell would I supposed to trust you? And that's why I said my twins are my twins are a lot like me. She wants to see it. She wants to see it in the beginning, see it or something, and then make a decision. And I'm too late in the game to be worrying about that shit. To be honest with you, maybe if I was in my 20s or something, but I'm too late in the game to be worrying about all that bubblegum shit. So your number 3 address inspires creativity, optimism, flexibility, openness. This is an excellent address for artists and unconventional people. And that's what I'm saying. We should have unconventional and anywhere where Uranus is. Notice how Uranus is right in your career sector and your friend sector. Equally well suited for singles or families. Oh, that's interesting. It says families, but they put singles together. Singles or families. Older people tend to feel comfortable in this environment, while younger people are inspired to do something unique and creative. Possibly the most upbeat of all addresses. A good location for an art studio, but not so good for a home office. But notice what he said, home office. Like, don't turn your... He didn't say it's not a good idea for a home. He said it's not a good idea for a home office. He said at a 3 address, you wouldn't turn it into a home office. Lacking focus and direction, this address is not ideal for ambitious workaholics. So the number 3 address is unconventional. It's not ideal for ambitious workaholics because it lacks focus and direction. Also not a good address for serious or overly religious people. Ugh, that's deep. Because that's what we've been talking about. Again, this is why you get your natal chart and get all your numerology, because you can go right back to your chart and see it. So if you're an artist or an unconventional person, you love to be creative, optimistic, flexible, open, that's a good address. It's an upbeat address. Good location for an art studio, but not a good location for a home office because it lacks focus and direction. This address is not good for ambitious workaholics. Not a good address for serious or overly religious people. Now you can strengthen the positive influence of this address with bright colors, artwork, perhaps even a mural or two. The interior design should be unconventional and loosely arranged furniture. mixed modern and antiques. And don't worry about other people's opinions. So if somebody comes to your house and say, "Dan, your shit look weird," say, "Fuck you. This is the number 3. It's the number 3." Do some study sometime instead of trying to criticize. All right, well, that concludes the name numerology and the address numerology. Once again, anybody who is listening can see how this works well with the person's natal chart and things like that. Now, again, this is really acting crazy. I don't know. One of them days. All right, so give me a second because I'm not done talking yet. So I'm going to shoot this over to their email. Give me a second. So again, it just takes a little bit of all right. There's these 2 females, they're Colombians, and they make Colombian calendars. So I've been wondering, should I get one? It's like drawings though, but it's pretty sweet because I think it would be good for history. All right. I'm just waiting for this page to open up because last time I went to it, like click here and you couldn't click it, and now it's taking forever for this thing to load. But they're businesswomen. That's what I like about them. All right. Well, I see what they're doing. Just give me I'm gonna put this on pause. I'll be right back. I thought it was cool to get that calendar because a lot of people I was meeting was all from Mexico, which is up the Atlantic, but it is across from the Pacific. It's across from the Philippines, but also up the Caribbean, up the Atlantic. From Colombia, Bolivia, all these people I was meeting. So I don't know how it ties in. Plus, I got people and on the west side. One of my friends, Kiera, she's definitely connected to the Aztec. You can just look at her and tell. And plus, I was told spiritually she's connected to the Aztec. So this is all past life stuff. So I thought it'd be good to get that because when you're talking about a Colombian, you're talking about ancient Colombia, ancient Mexicans, Incas, Aztecs, Mayans, for basically. So I thought it'd be good to get that calendar. But the way they did it, I wasn't understanding because when I would look at it, I was seeing all these calendars. I was like, well, which one? How are they gonna know which one I'm ordering? And I was like, nah. So then I looked at it again and I figured it out. It's the same calendar, but they did every month, like January, February. Because it's also in Spanish, so I can't, it takes too long to figure that stuff out. So this time I figured it out, so I was like, yeah. Because I like them. They're 2 females. And they were in Latina.com. That's where I saw them from. And they're Colombians. And so I asked them, do they have PayPal? Because I looked at the ones they accept, it didn't say PayPal, so I saw. All right, give me one more second. I liked them too because they never forgot about me because I asked and I got busy, did my own thing. And they send me stuff from time to time. But they're good business women too. So I hope they just got PayPal. I'll do it through that. Then maybe I'll come out here and talk about the calendar a little bit. All right, so yeah. Oh, so this is what I wanted to end this up. So sometimes in life, like I said, we have to be realistic. I have been through a whole lot, and I still don't believe in that. Like, people have faults. Like, see, one thing this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like a female, if you want to have fun, always a female, because she's always going to want to have fun. Sociable, want to get out and air and breathe and all that. But when it comes to that real shit, they fall off. Like, that's why they don't be staying married and shit. Like, for real. Let's keep 100. Some of y'all might, but a lot of y'all don't. Like, don't get mad at me because I'm kicking that real shit. Like, y'all don't want to stay married and shit. Why the fuck am I going to spend up my money on you, spending up all my time on you, and then you still can't stay married and shit? Like, you can't stay loyal and shit. I might as well just be a player. And I can't be a player because I'm a Christian. So, believe me, it was rough for me. When I found out how this planet is really running shit, I was like, oh, fuck this. They hate a nigga. They hate a man, and they really hate you if you black and shit. They just hate your ass. So I still had to get my mission done despite all this bullshit on planet Earth, third dimensional. And like God, if you really read the Bible, God will put you through some shit. A lot of y'all don't know that because y'all ain't really reading the Bible. Y'all ain't really dedicating. You say you are, but you ain't really dedicating your life to God. Really dedicate your life to God. You're going to see a whole different picture of God. He's a great person, but he's going to put your ass through boot camp, nigga. You're going to be in the darkness, all kind of. Just read your Bible. I ain't making this shit up. Look at poor Jesus. They said it delighted God that they beat Jesus. Did you know your Bible says that? It delighted God that they beat Jesus. That they did what they did. It delighted God. Then it said Jesus learned obedience through the things he suffered. Like, wow, you talk about the Son of God had to learn obedience? He's the Son of God. Why did he have to learn obedience through suffering? So when you really study, you feel like you in a fucking war, nigga. You're in a war. Not it's a bad, you just can't be a coward. It could be a great thing. I love my life. I love my life because I should be dead. I love my life. My bills are still paid. Thank you, Lord. I love my life, but you better learn what's really up. All this love. What love gonna do with all that shit? Is love gonna be there? Is love gonna walk with you through the darkness? Is love gonna hold your hand? Nah. Love gonna be just like anybody else, scared to death. The fuck is this shit? You know how many females have called me up and said they've been choked out the moment they went to sleep? 3 different females I'm in a relationship with at 3 different times. 3 different females, 3 different times. 3 different relationships. And 3 different people call me up. Say as soon as they went to sleep, it felt like somebody was choking them out and shit. I done heard that like 3 different times. So this is some eerie shit. But it's also that supernatural world. And it's in the Bible. David talks about being buffeted by a messenger of Satan. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Satan came for Jesus. In Matthew chapter 4, it was the Holy Spirit that took Jesus to be tempted of the devil. That's Matthew chapter 4. And then David talks about getting thrown in the deep. Psalm 61. Then David talks about walking around in the valley of shadow of death with evil all around me. Psalms 23. So this ain't nothing to mess with. This is nothing to play with. And when you realize how serious the game is, you change your life. That's why I said, why am I going to mess up my relationship with God because I'm kissing some bimbo that ain't going to be loyal to me? Because this is about me and God in third dimensional. But it is like hell. It is like higher than third degree. Third flames of hell and shit. So you learn how to walk differently, move differently. But I stayed on my mission, and people are still being encouraged. This information she's getting can greatly change her life if she applies it correctly. And even if she starts to mess up, at least she knows it was coming. So she'll still act differently. It won't be no surprise because she was smart enough to get a natal chart, numerology, whatever she felt she needed to do. None of this is just watching television. And all y'all sleeping, y'all gonna pay for it. Because that third dimensional fire gonna start to burn your ass. That's where you're becoming more intuitive. Because your inner self already knows you need to be learning this shit. But just hanging out on the sideline, listening and like a groupie and shit. Or you're still being like a third dimensional person, cheap as hell. That's like somebody sends you an email with a long ass email about what they're going through. And don't offer you shit. And believe I used to do shit like that. But even before the archangels talked to me, I knew that wasn't the way to be. Because you try to help you couldn't help these people. And you ain't going to help them until you make them responsible. They're not going to be responsible until they give something back. Otherwise, they're going to take your information like, fuck it. Go to some other channel and do the same thing on that channel. Ain't even going to read the information. Till you make it of value to them. And these are all the things the archangel taught me. Because I used to give everything away for free. So this is the real life we're in. And that's how God taught me. And God basically taught me, I like hard times. Well, why do you like hard times, God? You say you're a God of peace. Why do you like hard times? Because hard times shows you who's really true and who's not. Everybody can tell you they love you. Everybody can tell you they're your best friend. And you would never know until hard times came. Then you're going to find out who love you, who your best friend. So when I met my twin, that was the first thing. Listen, you looking at me like you know me. Because don't keep in mind, I didn't know what a twin flame was back then. You look at me like you know me. You look at me like you love me, whatever. So what's up? What's that about? But all she really wanted at that time was a quick fuck, which is why she was able to jump in bed with somebody else and start having babies with that dude. That's a Judas. And then if something went wrong, she'd be playing. Because I used to watch her work. She'd be playing around with some other dude. Because that's how a lot of women are in third dimensional. It's just a game. Because none of them had no real fear of God. They all say they love him, but their dress and everything, their whole action show you don't love no damn Jesus. Excuse me for saying damn in front of Jesus' name, but my point is you don't love him. And the damn is that you're cursing yourself. Because out of your mouth you're saying you love Jesus, but you're acting like the harlot. So don't waste my time. And then they still don't leave you alone. Your body language can say no. Everything about you can say no. They still won't leave you alone. They still try to figure out a way in your life to fuck you up. And then they'll flip it like you're them, like you're following them when they're the ones fucking with you. So that's this crazy third dimension. So we don't have no time for it. So like I said, my twin would have to really take this stuff seriously. She'd have to be convicted by it, and then she'd have to want to, what I would call the word repent. Not saying she would ever come to me and apologize, because she probably wouldn't. But she'd have to repent how she thinks. She'd have to realize this is her life purpose. Boom, boom, boom. This poor guy was trying to remember me. Boom, boom, boom. She'd have to realize it. And she'd have to come. Because I don't know where the fuck she at. And I wouldn't go looking for her if I did. That's like, damn, didn't you get fired over her? And you still following her? You really are a psycho. So I can't do nothing with her. So that's how that has to go. So until then, I'm doing my life purpose. But I can promise you this. If I ever do get back in the dating game, it'll be totally different. Different type of women will be pursued. Definitely need somebody a little bit more mature. And not all in that happy-pappy shit. See, it's a time and place for everything. And it's good to get out and have fun and stuff and just forget about everything and have fun. But bills do have to be paid. Houses do have to be cleaned. All that running outside in everybody else's house and shit, and running and partying and all over the world, and your house look like purity trash because you lazy and won't take care of your own house, but you're over everybody else's house. See, that stuff is typical of a lot of people. So when you're really doing this stuff, you become anti-typical. You go back to old school. What's your purpose in life? You try to stick to it, and you grow according to what you has been revealed in your natal chart. And if you're working with your archangel cards, angel cards, and you be getting more information from spirit, and hopefully you stay on track. And you always use common sense, because just because you get a reading, sometimes you still got to make sure. Because I don't know how many times it seemed like twins was about to meet, and sometimes they meet but they still don't hook up, or they still don't get together, and sometimes they say they're gonna meet and they don't meet at all. So you still got to double check everything. And a lot of that stuff people could do on their own, so it's not like it's a sales pitch. That's what I'm pitching right now is called common sense. It's not a sales pitch, it's common sense, and a lot of people don't even have that. So that's it. It's been a pleasure. If anybody's interested in any of the services you have out here, just like what she asked me to do, she just asked. That's all you gotta do is ask. I'm sure it can be done. I do have a list of service options and everything that I send out for people who request it. But even if it's not on a list, all you gotta do is ask. Probably still could do it. This is Gat. Check the description box. God bless.